I gotta be honest with y'all. I think Monster Hunter might have just set the tone for gaming in 2025, and that's not an exaggeration. Great gameplay, engaging system mechanics, great multiplayer incorporation. The drip? I don't think there's any cylinder right now that Monster Hunter is missing on. To be fair, I did forget about that. You right, that is a problem. But I feel like there's one thing that Monster Hunter's doing right now that they're excelling at, that dev teams for other games have been breaking their brain trying to compromise over. And that's their ability to appeal to veterans and newcomers while still providing a challenge in their game. Think about it. How many live service games have we had within the past couple of years where they either tried to add features to the game to make it easier or more inviting for newcomers, or basically scrapped everything that they had from the title prior to try and basically recreate the game from the ground up in attempts to appease both sides and it not work? I personally feel like Capcom found a way to create this Monster Hunter game in a way that caters to both audiences without compromising what makes Monster Hunter a Monster Hunter game. And I want to use this video to kind of break down that Monster Hunter formula to figure out what are some of the things that other dev teams seem to be scratching their heads over that the Monster Hunter dev team just makes it look so easy to implement. So strap in, get your food ready, get your preparations in order, cause we going on a hunt. Starting with low rank, which for those of you that have not played Monster Hunter before, or this may be your first game, that's basically the campaign. For veteran players, this serves as the introduction to the new game features or the new monsters that we've never seen before. But for the newer players, it serves as a tutorial, teaching them how to use their weapons, teaching them how to move around the monsters. Obviously, these monsters have no health bars, so the game will kind of teach you what signs to look for to show you that the damage is truly affecting the monsters or that you're very close to fully killing a monster, all while providing a story that both new and veteran hunters can both enjoy.
That's a sick way to take a monster out. I ain't gonna hold you. Oh, that was cold. That was cold. I like that. And it put the sword away, and nah, that's cold.
Now, I don't want to consider this part cheating, but I do feel like the open beta did have some effect, maybe serving as like a step stool into the initial gateway of Monster Hunter. For those that were on the fence but didn't want to have to spend the $60 to $70, they were at least able to play the 2 open betas that Capcom gave us before the game dropped to decide, maybe give them that extra X factor into whether they actually buy the game or not. But for those that may not have that same access because the game is already out, spending that $60, $70 to be able to play the full campaign and become a better hunter through the entire process, I feel like definitely helps, which leads to the somewhat seamless transition from low rank to high rank. That's right, just because you beat the campaign, the fun is not over. If anything, it's just beginning. High rank is where I say the grind is most effective. I know a lot of people that wanted to spend their time while still playing the campaign trying to grind out every armor set, find every skill decoration that the game might have thrown at them, just for them to find out that once they beat the campaign, they basically get access to every armor set that they originally had, but in high rank form, leaving them to go do it again a second time, which some people may find that enjoyable. But for those that are playing Monster Hunter for the first time, I encourage all of you, if you're gonna spend your time grinding, wait until high rank to really put that effort into making your character look as cool as possible or farming all of the decorations to make your build as damaging as you want it to be. I treat high rank, at least during the initial launch of a Monster Hunter game, like an off season. All of this grinding, I promise you, is not in vain, but we're still waiting for the updates of new monsters, seasonal updates, think Halloween, December holidays, Easter, right? We're waiting for armor sets for that, new monsters to show up, new event quests. That's what we're waiting on. But in the meantime, we're still gonna play through, we're gonna grind, we're gonna farm as much as we can so that when it drops, we don't feel like, oh my gosh, this was such a crazy power spike that all of my initial efforts don't matter anymore. It's not going to work like that. Now, if they drop DLC for this game like they did with World into Iceborne or Rise into Sunbreak, that might be a different thing. But I'm talking about the $60 Monster Hunter experience that you get from low rank to high rank to a potential master / G rank progression. This is what you're going to be looking at, and this is what your time is going to be allocated towards. Now, Monster Hunter provides the challenge in what I would consider a digestible, incremental approach. Two games that I feel do this well are Dark Souls and Monster Hunter, but there are two different approaches. Think Elden Ring versus Wilds, where Elden Ring threw you in the world, said, have a blast. There's so much for you to explore, so many cool weapons and ways to level your character up, but you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna die a lot, and we really don't care. Just get better. And as you get better, the game is going to improve, which for those that were willing to stay the course, had a blast. Elden Ring is the best game, you know, it got Game of the Year for a reason. Where Monster Hunter is still going to introduce you to this world and all of these crazy monsters, but instead of dropping you off at the gate and driving off, they're like, no, we're gonna show you the ropes a little bit. We're gonna show you what you're fighting, why you're fighting it, how to properly fight it. And then once you feel comfortable, then we can drive off, you can have a blast, and I can know that you're gonna understand what you're doing at the end of the day. And as you continue to fight these monsters, as a live service game, we're going to continue to up the difficulty by introducing you to new monsters, up the difficulty by giving you tempered and frenzied versions of these monsters, or letting you fight some of the elder bosses that you fought in the story mode, but at a higher difficulty, and let you have at it that way. You can still tailor your experience how you like, where if you just want to make the coolest armor sets and play Fashion Hunter, you're allowed to do that. If you want to try and start speed running monsters and figure out what's the most effective or efficient build to kill a monster in 2 minutes compared to 20, you can do that. And a lot of the features that have been implemented into newer Monster Hunter titles that some people may argue make the game easy are really just ease of access features, where in previous games we had to go buy extra whetstones or mine them, which we also had to buy extra pickaxes for because the pickaxes could break, where in more recent titles they just gave us an infinite supply of whetstones and a pickaxe that does not break, which also positively affects the overall flow of the game. Instead of me having to stop and sharpen my weapon, I now have a mount that allows me to sharpen my weapon and progress towards the monster at the same time. Instead of having to throw a paintball at the monster to find out where it is on the map and then go through 10 loading screens to go from locale 1 to 10 to 8 to 2, I now always have an idea of where the monster is due to the scout flies, and all of the locales in the biome are seamless. So I don't have to wait through 15 loading screens to get to where I have to get to. Small changes like this can go a long way in the long run, and we're seeing it now by how well received Monster Hunter Wilds has been compared to any of the other Monster Hunter titles we've gotten to this day. And like I said, I feel like a lot of dev teams could definitely take a lesson or two from how Capcom has handled Monster Hunter, because like I said at the beginning of the video, there are a lot of games that we've seen try to capitalize on this, creating an environment that both newcomers and veterans alike can enjoy the game at the same time, whether it be a cooperative game or a competitive game. And I feel like we've seen a lot of dev teams struggle or straight up shut down as a result of trying to figure out that balance between catering to newcomers and veterans of a series and not being able to produce, especially with the live service game. Trying to curate a game and incorporate some level of microtransaction, battle pass in a way that doesn't seem too greedy, but also providing a product that people are willing to spend their money on. And for a $60 to $70 game that manages to effectively bridge that gap and encourage newcomers and veterans to interact and play alongside each other with a monetization method within a live service game that isn't super invasive or takes away from the overall enjoyment of the game, especially in an era where companies are willing to see how much profit they can pull while providing the bare minimum, sometimes even less, in their games, I'm willing to give companies or game developers the credit they deserve. When a company is willing to bet on themselves and the product that they have put time, energy, effort, and love into, it shows. And we're seeing it right now with Monster Hunter Wilds.